Welcome to another SCARFS video. We're still talking about the A of SCARFS, which is agreement, lack of agreement within sentence structure, and this video is going into a bit more detail about when that lack of agreement is between the noun and the pronoun that stands in for that noun within the sentence. So if you're having a problem with this, or you'd like to help somebody who's having a problem with this, the first thing you need to know is what a pronoun is and how they work. So a little quick recap of that with just a very simple sentence can help to explain this. Bob lost his backpack. These little words here are what pronouns are. In this case, it's a possessive pronoun because it's telling us who possesses the thing that comes after it, in this case the backpack. And so whose backpack is it? It's Bob's. So his is referring back to this noun, in this case a proper noun, but his refers back to Bob. Okay? And once we know that, we can see that there's agreement. In this case there is, because Bob is singular and his is singular. In this next example, there's a lack of agreement. Fred got their pen out. Okay? Here's our possessive pronoun. Whose pen? Their pen. But the their is referring back to Fred. Okay? So in this case it's incorrect. It needs to be, Fred is singular, so it needs to be singular. We know that Fred is a boy, so we put his. Fred got his pen out. Okay, and then just one more to reiterate the point. Bob hasn't cleaned their room. And you know, that's quite a common mistake to use their, the pronoun there, when really what we want is the pronoun his or her. You'll find that the longer the sentence becomes, the more there is a risk of having this pronoun-noun confusion. So of course this has to be Bob hasn't cleaned his room. Alright, so once we've got a handle on what a pronoun is and its job within a sentence, then we can start to look at some longer sentences and some of the trickier instances that often trip people up. So I'd like to sort of draw your attention to two of those common tricky areas. One is when you're dealing with a noun that represents a sort of collective. Okay, so a panel. You might have a panel of 5 judges, you know, at a singing competition, or an audition panel of 5 people making the judgment on whether the audition is successful or not. And they need to make a decision, they being the members of the panel. But if you're talking about the panel, there's only one. So you would say the audience panel had come to its decision, because this pronoun has to match that. That's what it's talking about. So it needs to be its. Okay, tricky because there's more than one member of the panel. And if it was the members of the audition panel had come to their decision, that would be okay, because the there would go back to members, or members of the audition panel. But in this case, it goes back to panel, singular, has to be singular. Another common area that tricks people, because it is a bit tricky, is shown in this example here. And that's when we've got the word anyone. Because normally when you're saying, you know, does anyone have any questions, then you're sort of talking to more than one person. But the actual word anyone is singular. It's any one of that group of people. So it needs to remain singular when we get to the pronoun. So let's find the pronoun here. If anyone wants to join the soccer team, they, there's our pronoun, should sign up at the office. Okay? So this, strictly speaking, has to be singular. So, you know, you could make it, if anyone wants to join the soccer team, he or she should sign up at the office. But that's a bit clunky. I would probably prefer to turn it around like I showed you in an example in the introductory video, and make it something like, if any students, and then we've got plural, want, so we've got to make that match. If any students want to join the soccer team, they should sign up at the office. And now we've got that nice agreement between noun and pronoun. And that is agreement when it comes to nouns and pronouns. Thank you.